earlier on that they were in a briefing, and from the briefing they had to visit children headed families, and they are here now, and there are a lot of questions that were asked earlier on that we couldn't give answers to, because the MEC is the one who has the stats, is the one who deals with issues related to HIV and other diseases in the province, and Dr. Phophi Ramathuba is right here with me. Dr. Ramathuba, thank you and welcome to SABC. Earlier on a question was posed to say, why specifically this place? Does it have high prevalence of HIV/AIDS, or is just any venue that we have chosen and you will be rotating with other districts in the province?
Good afternoon and afternoon to all your viewers out there. What we can indicate to you is that Capricorn District, also Polokwane Municipality, it's one of the cities that has been identified globally for them to launch the 1990 municipality strategy, fast tracking of the 1990. So we are here not just only to commemorate the World AIDS Day, but we're here to also launch the 1990. And also equally, Polokwane has got a serious challenge, especially when we come to TB cure rate. We're still having challenges, we're still lagging behind, while of course Waterberg District still leads the province in terms of the prevalence with HIV and AIDS. Polokwane as a city also it's up there when you look at the statistics. So we are here not just only to look at the 1990, but also to launch in our implementation plan, which it's municipality that can assist us in making sure that we reverse these challenges that we're having in HIV and AIDS. And
MEC, you spoke of Waterberg being at the helm, leading in terms of the districts in the province, but what is the provincial outlook, which district it's leading, and also the provincial stats, if you have them?
As Limpopo province, we can indicate to you that Waterberg district it's at around 27%. We are leading in terms of, and then followed by Mopani district, followed by Capricorn district, Bembe, followed by Skukune. Bembe is still very low. Below 20%. We are still doing well in terms of that. But also when we look at back historically, Waterberg we were at some stage at above 30 and 33%, but now we're getting a reduction of the new infections. When you look at our infections, especially on the institution of higher learning, all our TVET colleges, we can indicate to you that if there's an area where we will see an HIV-free generation, it will be within our TVET colleges. We've seen that Bembe TVET College, for instance, we recently visited with the Minister of Higher Education, wherein previously when I went there on my own, the statistics were very high. We managed to, from all those that we tested, there were more than 20 learners that have tested positive, but this time around only 6 learners tested positive. But when you look at our high school basic education, that's where we're not doing well. We think we are losing the ball in terms of the basic education, because if you remember, we visited one of the school which had more than 37 learners being pregnant. When we look back and start to do an HIV survey, zooming the entire area, we found 31 learners between the age of 9 and the age of 17 being HIV positive. So that tells you that we are not really pushing hard when it comes to basic education. We are doing well now when you look at higher education.
Let's talk about the farming communities and the mines. We know that in the past it was said that HIV/AIDS is prevalent. It's very prevalent in those areas. How far are we? Are you visiting such areas? Is government doing enough to try and curb the spread of HIV and AIDS?
In the previous 2 years, our focus was on Skukune, where even our World AIDS Day has to be commemorated in Skukune, where we were visiting all the mine. We're partnering with the mine. We're partnering also with the labor unions. We're partnering with NUM in this particular province, wherein we go in and do the testing. And the mines captains of industry are really coming on board. They are assisting us because they also need a healthy workforce. So we've done that in terms of the mine. Also farming area. With farming area, we've gone beyond that. We've also, like for instance, our famous ZZ mine. where they produce tomatoes. We have, as a department, established even an ARV site so that we can have a satellite site for us as a department where farm workers, they are tested on site. They don't have to go and ask for leave to go to our clinics. We are partnering with that. Equally, when you go to Lipalale in the mine, that side, we've also put in that particular site. So we have been focusing much on the mines and the farming in the previous years, and we've seen it giving us fruits. Hence, I've even indicated with higher education. The problem is that when you shift to this other one, the other one still go. So you need to continue to balance. To say, yes, today we're here in Mankweng to launch, but we must not forget that last year we were in Giyani there. What is going to happen in Giyani? The other year we were in Skukun. So we must continue to keep the balance. But however, I need to indicate that we need to celebrate the fact that we used to have mother-to-child transmission at 3%. If you go back to 2014, in this province, we were at almost 3%. 3% of the babies born out of mothers who are HIV positive were positive. Today, we're at less than 1%. And that tells you that now, if we move towards an HIV-free generation of the less than 20 years, it is possible because we've done well with mothers to child. However, when we lose the ball in terms of the basic education, these kids who tested positive, some of them, their parents are negative, meaning either they are sleeping with older men or meaning they're now infecting each other. Now, that's the first area where we see. Also, if you look at what happened in 2014, we only had 188 people that were on ARVs. Today, we have got more than 355. We've surpassed the targets that are living healthy on ARVs. Equally, when you look at the number of people that are living with HIV who are supposed to know their status, as we move towards 90, we're now at 86%. So that tells you that the 90-90-90 strategy, we're gradually getting there. If you look at the TB cure rate, this province was one of the worst. But when you look at the MDR TB, having decentralized, if you remember, there was the issue of Mudimula MDR, having to make that bold decision, unpopular decision, and put a decentralized treatment of MDR. Our treatment rate, now cure rate for multiple drug resistant, moved from less than 50% to 68.8%. And the ordinary or the normal TB, the cure rate now has moved to over 81%. So we are on the right track.
United Nations